Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a fun run through Pokemon Crystal as I sought to see if I could beat it with just a single Chinchou. Today though, we're jumping ahead a few generations but still using a dual type water Pokemon as we see if I can beat Pokemon Platinum with a single Mantyke. Right then, Mantyke, we definitely have some interesting stats. We have a 345 base stat total and a whopping 120 of that is in our special defence, so we're probably going to tank those hits quite well. Our next best stat is our special attack at 60 with defence and speed at 50 and HP at 45. Let's not talk about our weedy physical attack. 345 base stat total is the same as Clamperl and Rhyhorn. We are water and flying type, so weak to rock and quad weak to electric. We're immune to ground and resistant to fighting, bug, steel, fire and water. Fire level up, we do get some special water moves that can take advantage of our special attack. There are some physical moves in here, but we're not going to hit hard with them, so it's debatable how useful they're going to be long term. Wing attack normally isn't bad, but might be a bit meh. I might need it for the grass gym, but we'll see. Water pulse will be useful until we can get surf. Regarding the TM moves we can learn, we can get Ice Beam, which will be useful. Hidden Power, hopefully, is a useful type. We can get stuff like Aerial Ace and Earthquake, but again, it's not going to be helpful with our physical attack stat. Then again, we can get Air Cutter and Mud Slap via Tutor, but that latter one may not be entirely helpful, especially since it's not until post-game. But I might get something out of Air Cutter. This challenge was suggested by Patreon Jason Cabanuk at the same time the Cherubi challenge was suggested. The Platinum with Cherubi challenge was horrible, so we'll see if this one is as bad. Somehow, I doubt it. The last two Platinum ones have been rough though. Any ideas for future challenges? Comment down below, or links to Twitter and Discord are in the description. Oh, and the doggo is still fine. The rules are on the screen throughout. As always, if you enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's get this on. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chimchar with Mantyke so that I could do the whole run with it. You might have thought I'd have replaced Piplup and make it a like-for-like swap. Well, I thought about this, but Torterra would not be a hard opponent to fight since we double resist grass and are immune to ground. Empoleon is actually the hardest for us to fight of the three starters since it'll resist both our stab types, so yeah. After much furore, we get our starter and then set about fighting the rival. He has his Piplup and we immediately go for Supersonic as it hurts itself in confusion a bunch of times. 3 of them to be precise, which always handy. I mean, if it's not hitting us, that's good. We do strike with a bunch of tackles, and although they don't hurt much individually, we are getting 3 hits in to hurt it, and eventually we take it out. When I get the chance at Rowan's lab, I nickname my Mantyke Toby. This is a very obscure reference as to why the little tyke has this name, so great spot if you get why. If you do, hit the comments down below. Toby has the careful nature. Now, this isn't entirely great, but I'll go with it. We have the careful nature, so more special defense and less special attack. I mean, I'll take being able to weather special hits all day. We are not going to hit fantastically well already though, and this makes it even worse. Oh well. I get some training in ahead of the first rival fight, looking at speed and special attack, fighting Zubats and Psyduck in Wayward Cave. I mean, the rival shouldn't be a problem, and I really don't think the rock gym will be either. I mean, I know we are weak to rock, but come on, if we are losing to a rock type specialist with a water type Pokemon, then questions need to be asked. I mean, I suppose if we're slower than Craniados, we may get stun locked, but that's about the only possible obstacle I can see. There is a rival fight outside Jubilife City, and I'm well ready for him thanks to the training. We have Bubble Beam now, and I use it to take Starly out in one hit, so that's not really proven to be an issue. He sends Piplup in next, and we launch a series of Bubble Beams, one after the other. Now here's the thing, if Piplup actually attacked, we might be in trouble, but it spams Growl 3 turns in a row. Remember, we're not using our physical attack, and as a result, we 4-shot it with Bubble Beam. It is the battle with Rourke next, and I'm up for this fight, and he begins with Geodude. Such is my confidence, I don't even go for Bubble Beam, I one-shot it with Bubble, and we watch it drop. Onix is second. This time we go for a Bubble Beam and one-shot it to give us a knockout, and put us into the fight with Craniados. We are faster, so I don't have to worry about being stun locked. I don't have to worry about much of anything. We one-shot it with Bubble Beam for a win, and badge number 1. There is a fight with Commander Mars at the Windworks, and I'm a little leery, since she is notoriously tricky at this point in the game, thanks to a Zubat that has Toxic and a Purugly that's capable of hitting hard and is deceptively fast. I make a few tries at level 20 and discover that handling Purugly is a rough ask at this level. A Peachy Berry can stop any danger of Toxic, but it doesn't change the fact that Purugly is capable of messing us up. Even at level 22, it's something that is still a bit of a rough fight, and we lose a few attempts at that level too. On the winning run, Zubat survives Bubble Beam and hits Toxic. But while this might be a death sentence without the Peachy Berry, we do have said berry, and it gets rid of the status condition, and we strike another Bubble Beam to end it. Purugly strikes Fake Out and Scratch, but we lower its speed with Bubble Beam, which is massive, as we put it on yellow health to trigger its berry and get hit with another Scratch. Thankfully, we crit our next Bubble Beam to take it out. That's a big relief. We are moving through Eterna Forest, and I'm looking ahead to what's next. I can't believe that the grass gym is going to be an easy fight by any means. We are not weak to grass, but neither do we resist it, so we are still going to get reasonably hurt. I was curious about this. Mantyke weighs just over 143 pounds, so we're going to be getting hit with a base 80 power stab grass knot from Gardenia's Roserade, which, decent special defence or not, that damage is soon going to mount up. There is a Jupiter fight after that. There'll be the Ghost Gym, which has the capacity to be unpleasant, and then there's a rival fight, which might also be rough. So, the next bit of the game should be interesting for sure. Gardenia goes horribly. We can just about make it through Turtwig unscathed. If it goes for Reflect, we're fighting uphill, since although we do have Wing Attack, remember we're not a physical attacker, and Reflect means it does even less damage. And of course, she also has Sunny Day on her team, so our water attacks aren't even going to do much damage either. We are towing in the late 20s level wise, so I figure I need to retreat and train up some more. I return to the gym and my rematch with Gardenia begins at level 32, and we immediately strike Turtwig with Wing Attack while it goes for Reflect, which moderately unhelpful. We do land a Water Pulse that brings it down though, so that's pleasant enough. Wing Attack doesn't do much on Cherim thanks to the Reflect, and it goes for Safeguard. I try both Headbutt, figuring we might get a flinch, and Water Pulse, hoping for confusion, but neither does a lot of damage while we get hit with a few Grass Knots. But the Reflect fades and Wing Attack breaks Cherim. Roserade takes about 2/3 of her health from Wing Attack and eats a berry. She lands Stun Spore, but we eat our own berry to heal the condition. We then strike another Wing Attack to take her out and get the second badge. We have a Commander Jupiter fight before we leave town, and usually she isn't as bad as Commander Mars. Always that potential to be awkward though. We use our Bubble Beam to shoot down the Zubat and take a swift early knockout before we face off with Skuntank. We go on the Bubble Beam offensive, doing about half its health each time, though the berry stops the battle being a 2-hit knockout. Skuntank does hit a few Night Slash attacks, but ultimately we can brush them off and land the 3 Bubble Beams to take her out. Let's do some Mantyke trivia then. Pokédex entries state that the patterns on its back differ by region, which the Ultramoon Dex entry says is because of their habitat. However, it has the same pattern on its back in every game that it has been present in. People organise tours to see this Pokemon frolic and skim the tops of the waves with Remoraid. They capture the subtle flows of seawater using their antenna. Apparently, they're highly friendly and easily tamed. In Alola, tours that take people swimming with them are a super popular beach activity. Apparently, the ones found in Galar seem to be somewhat sluggish, and it is believed to be due to the cold water. It is the only Pokemon that requires a specific Pokemon in the party in order to evolve. This is based on the aspect of mutualism, a form of symbiosis in which two organisms depend on each other for survival. It is tied with Leddibar for the lowest base attack stat of all flying type Pokemon. It is based on a bay manta ray, and its name may be a combination of manta and tyke, a term used to describe a small child. In Hearthome City, we have to fight Fantina, and the first attempt is a loss thanks to getting burned by Duskull at the start, and the burn doing more damage than we can heal. However, the second attempt goes better. Duskull is a 2-hit knockout, or would be if not for the super potion. Thankfully, she only goes for Shadow Sneak attacks in this effort, and despite the super potion, we can land the Bubble Beam and Water Pulse to take it out. Haunter survives Bubble Beam and uses Confuse Ray before Fantina heals. We do lose a few turns to Confuse Ray. We take some damage over the course of the fight from Shadow Claw and Sucker Punch attacks, but soon we bring the Haunter down with Bubble Beam attacks. Miss Magius takes less than half her health in damage from Bubble Beam and isn't a 2-hit, but thanks to our decent special defence, we can tank the Shadow Ball attacks coming our way relatively easily. We do suffer a special defence drop towards the back end of the fight, but it's not an issue. We can soon bring her down for the count and take the Relic Badge. There is the small matter of a rival fight before I leave town, and well, this might not be pleasant, but we've got to do what we've got to do. He begins with Staravia, and we one-shot it with Bubble Beam. Okay, that's neat. Staravia is usually annoying with Double Team and Endeavour. Ponyta is second and goes down to Bubble Beam. Prinplup is third, and well, it only ever goes to Peck attacks. I think the game is compensating for knowing we have Water Absorb as an ability. We strike Bubble Beams and Water Pulse attacks. They don't do much damage alone, but they can soon take it out with a repeated assault. Roselia is a one-shot with a crit wing attack, and we can move along. So, up ahead, we have some pretty big fights, something approaching a bit of a boss gauntlet, as you might say. There's the fighting gym ahead, which might not be as simple as first appears, since I'm pretty sure they have rock moves. There'll be a rival fight before the water gym, and I'd say the water gym is probably not going to be simple either. I think we'll really struggle to damage the opponents. There's a Cyrus fight after that, which shouldn't be too bad, then another rival fight, and then the steel gym, which I'm not expecting to be too bad, but we'll see. On the subject of the fighting gym then, things go bad in a few attempts. They have rock moves, as I said, and by the time we fought through Meditite and Macho, Lucario can finish us off. But on the winning run, we face off with Meditite and get hit with Fake Out. Wing Attack puts it in red health and we get hit with Rock Tomb, but take it out with Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam does about 2/3 of Machoke's health, but we get hit with another Rock Tomb before we take it out with Bubble Beam. Last is Lucario, and we are hurting. I go for Water Pulse to hope for confusion, but do about 1/4 of its health, all while we get hammered with a few Force Palms. Then we crit a Water Pulse to take Lucario down and give us a very fortunate victory. We have to help Dawn get her Pokédex back from Team Galactic. I'm fighting as many opponents as I can so I can get the TM for Ice Beam from the game corner, since I think this will help in the rest of the game, particularly the Cyrus battles. I want to go hunting for shards too, so I can learn Air Cutter from the move tutor. I might well want to get that before the water gym, since Wing Attack is likely going to be useless after being intimidated by Gyarados. Rival fight anyway, and it's time to face off with him. He begins with Staravia and we're intimidated. Good thing I don't have any physical attacks. It survives Bubble Beam and goes for Double Team, but we take it out with Water Pulse, so not bad. Ponyta is second and we one-shot it with Bubble Beam. Prinplup is third and we immediately miss an Air Cutter. Oh dear. But we land several over the next several turns to sap down its health. We only really get hurt with Pecks in exchange and they're not that bad, so we soon bring it down. Roselia is last and it survives Air Cutter before hitting Magical Leaf, which we shrug off and then take it out with Water Pulse. So that's a victory. I checked to see what our hidden power type is before the Water Gym, and it's Dragon, so that really doesn't do us a lot of favours. I was hoping for Electric, as that would really make things helpful, but alas, it's not to be. Bar Cynthia's Garchomp, I can't really think of too many more other major fights against Dragon types in this game, so not useful. Anyway, Water Temple time and the battle with Crash Awake. We do lose a few attempts, but eventually we get a run, which plays out like this. I always start by setting up Aqua Ring for health. We get crit with a bite before we start landing Air Cutters on Gyarados. They don't do a lot of damage individually, but they soon mount up. With Aqua Ring and the Shell Bell, we do heal quite a bit off each exchange, so not bad. Gyarados soon goes down and Quagsire is second. We do over half its health with Bubble Beam and lower its speed before we get hit with Rock Tomb. We can take it down with another Bubble Beam though. Floatzel is last, and at least I don't have to worry about priority Aqua Jet. We lose a lot of health from Crunch attacks though, but we just keep striking Air Cutter attacks, eventually forcing Wake to heal his Floatzel, but we crit an Air Cutter straight after, and although we take some damage, we do bring it down for victory. Floatzel more fragile than this gym battle, as you believe. I've got the walk next towards Celestic Town, and I'm still trying to accrue the coins needed for Ice Beam. It costs 4,000 Game Corner coins in Fire Red and Leaf Green. It costs 10,000 in Platinum. That's what inflation looks like, I guess. I mean, it will make certain fights easier for sure. And at least I'm very close to getting Surf now too, which also nice. One of those fights ahead is against Cyrus, who is the next major opponent in the Celestic Ruins. And we face off with him after much exposition from him and Cynthia's grandmother. He begins with Sneasel and we hit Bubble Beam, but it survives and lands Ice Punch before we take it out with another Bubble Beam. Golbat is a one-shot with our newly acquired Ice Beam before Murkrow at the very end goes down in the same way, and with that we have Surf and all should be well in the world. After travelling to Canalave City, we have another rival fight pretty much straight away, and it's an immediate start as he brings out Staraptor, but I'm not concerned. Intimidate is a non-factor and we shoot it down with Ice Beam for a quick knockout. Rapidash is second and we one-shot that with Surf before we take the Heracross out with Air Cutter. Empoleon is fourth and I don't have a fantastic plan to deal with it, so we just spam Surf and Air Cutter repeatedly and hope for the best. Empoleon crits 2 Aerial Aces, and so I go for Aqua Ring just to be sure before going back on the Surf offensive. We get a crit of our own for a knockout. At the end, Roserade goes down to Ice Beam and we can head into the gym. Versus Byron, I do lose the first attempt. We can survive Magneton's Thunderbolt after we fail to end it with Surf, but we get paralysed and that's a death sentence. The second attempt goes better though, as we don't get paralysed by Thunderbolt. Magneton also gets crit by Surf. Bastiodon survives Surf but only goes for Iron Defense, and a second Surf takes it out. Steelix at the end doesn't do any better and we drop it with Surf for a win. Anyway, Commander Saturn is next as we do a boss rush on the Commanders. He begins with Golbat, we strike an Ice Beam to take it out in one shot. Bronzor survives Surf and hits Rock Tomb, so we will have a speed loss but another Surf takes it out. Last is Toxicroak. We get outsped and hit with a crit Poison Jab which does huge damage. We land an Air Cutter to take out a good chunk of its health. We survive the second Poison Jab on 1 HP and then end it with another Air Cutter, and that was incredibly fortunate. There is a Mars fight next, and I think she might be easier than Saturn, or at least that Saturn fight we just had. Maybe, who can possibly say. She begins with Golbat and it survives Ice Beam before hitting a Bite for decent damage considering the level difference. We finish that off with another Ice Beam. Bronzor is second and it survives Surf before going for Iron Defense. Bad move as another Surf takes it out. Purugly hits Fake Out. We flinch but land Surf on the next turn for massive damage. She eats a berry and hits slash, but another surf takes it out and lets us move on. As I travel towards Snowpoint City then, quick channel update. So, I'm not proud of this, but I think I sort of rage quit Simpsons Hit and Run for the moment. Let us never speak of why. I may revisit it when I'm in a better frame of mind, but I'm really not proud of the way it came to an end right now. I did begin to upload my playthrough of Man-Eater, no commentary on that one. I seem to have been uploading a lot of TCG stuff as well. Hey, I'm opening it anyway, I might as well record it. I've got a From Russia with Love playthrough to upload over the coming weeks too. I began playing Pokemon Black Pearl Emerald with Gen 9 Pokemon. I did finish editing the video of Pokemon Ultra Moon with Bird Pokemon. I'm just dreading 2 hours of voice work for it. The thing I'm toying with doing is just doing it with music and no voiceover, but that feels like I'm taking the easy way out. I've got a White 2 with Fire-type Pokemon playthrough in the can, but again, it's editing and VO. Next Pokemon challenge is going to be a Gen 1 challenge, second of the year, and I'm going to run Pokemon Yellow with a single Pidgey. That could surely be interesting, I think. As always, if you have any ideas for challenges, head to the comment section down below, or follow the links in the description to my Discord, or, well, I'm actually thinking of doing a new Twitter account. I know it's called X. See, there's reasons for this. I have 2 accounts at the moment for 2 different reasons, and I want to merge the purpose behind them. I'm not really using either, so it just feels like a soft reboot. As well as doing the YouTube thing, I'm also a self-published author on Amazon, and that was what I used the other one for. But again, not logged into it for absolutely probably years now. I want to get back to that since I've had writer's block for ages, and it seems like a good time to combo everything in. And I want to get back to using Twitter more often too. And I still can't get used to calling it X, but you know what I mean. The Ice Gym is harder than I expected. There are many attempts where I lose on Candice, though admittedly some of them are due to shenanigans from Frostlass with Snowcloak and Double T. In this run, we go for Aqua Ring and Sneasel only goes for Feint Attack rather than hitting Ice Punch or Screech. That latter one caused some problems as well. We put it on Red Health with Surf even as Sneasel crits Feint Attack. Candice heals but Air Cutter and Surf take it out. Piloswine goes down to a single Surf before a Bomber Snow is third. We hit Air Cutter for massive damage and get hit with Avalanche before a second Air Cutter takes it out. Last is Frostlass who hits Blizzard and we land a Surf. Frostlass hits a second Blizzard, not going to miss thanks to the hail, thank you a Bomber Snow, and we land a second Surf to take it out. I'm going through the Galactic building now towards the next Cyrus fight and I'm thinking about what's ahead. We've got Cyrus, we've got a rematch with Saturn, and there's the always unfun Jupiter and Mars double battle at Mount Coronet. There'll be another Cyrus fight after that, and unless we have an electric attack, that's never a fun battle. Gyarados is a bit of an obstacle. On that note, there's the electric gym after that, which I do actually have a plan for. Anyway, the Cyrus fight. Not worried about this one at all. The next one though, we'll get to that. We do somehow contrive to lose a few efforts at this fight, so my confidence was dramatically misplaced. We get outsped by everything except Honchkrow, and being confused and poisoned by Crobat repeatedly doesn't help. With that, I go and train for a bit to get some levels to help me overcome Cyrus. If I'm not ready for the second fight with him, I know for damn sure I'm not ready for the third fight with him, so it's back to Iron Island and the grind. I mean, do it now, save time later. I mean, some of the battles, we weren't that far away from one-shots, and that might make the difference. Teaming up with Riley and going through Iron Island, this is my favourite grinding spot in Platinum because we get healed after each battle, so we don't have to worry about running out of PP, so that's the positive. I return to face off with Cyrus again at level 75. This time, we outspeed Sneasel and put it on Red Health with Surf, but we get tagged with Ice Punch. He heals and we go for Aqua Ring before hitting Surf on Sneasel again. It lands Screech and we take it out with Air Cutter. Crobat hits Poison Fang and then narrowly survives Ice Beam. Cyrus goes for a full restore but we get a high damage roll and one-shot Crobat. Honchkrow we outspeed and land the Ice Beam for a one-shot and we take the victory. We have to face Saturn again pretty quickly afterwards, and I know the last one was a closer fight than expected, but not too worried about this one. Golbat is first, we land an Ice Beam to one-shot that, and put us into the fight with Bronzor, who survives Surf and hits Extrasensory before we drop it with Air Cutter. Versus Toxicroak, we outspeed and crit a Surf to take it down in one hit. Okay, so things are about to get serious as we head up Mount Coronet. There's going to be 2 rough battles in quick succession, so I know we're going to need to be ruthless and also to have some fortune as well. Seems a good time to mention this too. I did do a YouTube search to find out if this challenge has been done before, and I did find one instance of this challenge having happened before, but only that one instance, so I'll say it's a pretty unique one. I think it was about 3 years ago from what I remember, so almost pretty unique. We have the double battle against Jupiter and Mars, where our rival also gets involved. We start with an Aqua Ring to keep us healthy, and they go for the double screens, which is very, very not useful. Our Surf doesn't do a lot of damage thanks to the light screen, but I'd say we're capable of free hitting the Bronzor with that Surf while it's up. I mean, they keep targeting the Munchlax with their attacks, which is useless as a battle partner, so that's something. Surf hits Munchlax as well as a battle partner, so we can soon take it down. Rapidash comes in as we're ready to use the third Surf to take out both the Bronzor, but Surf also takes Rapidash down as a side effect. Purugly and Skuntank are soon out, and Rod brings Heracross in as a battle partner. We strike Surf, hurting Heracross as well as our opponents, but Purugly hits an Aerial Ace to bring down Heracross, while Skuntank lands a Flamethrower on us for pretty minimal damage. The screens finally go down, and we can one-shot both Skuntank and Purugly from about the 2/3 mark with their remaining health, taking Staraptor down as well. The 2 Golbats are left. We strike one down with Ice Beam before taking the other one down with another Ice Beam in pretty short order. Empoleon only uses Swagger on the Golbat, which doesn't affect the fight too much. Cyrus battle then, and this is the moment of truth. I hope I've got enough in my tank for it. He begins with Houndoom, and I set up an Aqua Ring. We get hit with Thunderfang for decent damage, but quickly take it out with Surf. Gyarados is second, and we start hitting Ice Beams, eventually getting the freeze, which is what I was hoping for. We did get hit with a few Ice Fangs, but nothing major. We take it out soon after. Honchkrow is third, and we one-shot it with Ice Beam. Weavile is fourth, and it lands Fake Out before following up with Ice Punch and freezing us for a few turns before we break out and land Surf. Thankfully, we have enough health left to survive that assault because being helpless under the frozen condition, not ideal. We also managed to survive Crobat's Cross Poison afterwards on red health, and we can one-shot that with Ice Beam. That wasn't too bad actually. Anytime I do the final Cyrus fight, first attempt, I will take that. On the subject of the Electric Gym, I said I had a plan, and my plan is this. Surf is going to be effective against all of his team. It's probably our most powerful move. So, I equip the choice specs to boost our special attack and then set about Voltner. If we outspeed everything, we're probably going to one-shot everything, especially with our level lead. He begins with Jolteon, we outspeed and one-shot with Surf. We do the same to Raichu in the next round of the fight, and the third round versus Luxray works out the same. Last is Electivire, and we one-shot it with our specs boosted Surf, and that is all the gym badges. Going through Victory Road, I have to look ahead towards the Elite Four and how this might play out. Now in theory, Aaron shouldn't be too bad. We have Ice and Flying moves for his team, which are good against 3/5 of said team, and Surf should be able to take care of Scizor and Drapion. I cannot see any world in which Bertha or Flint are any sort of trouble for us. I might return to the choice specs strategy just to be sure. Lucian though will probably be harder. I can imagine him being a lot harder. And well, in theory, we have good moves for Cynthia, but it's just a case of if we can put them to best use. There's a rival battle before we can enter the Elite Four though. I always forgot about this, and it's time to throw down with Rod for one final time. He's not been too much of a problem so far. He begins with Staraptor, and we one-shot that with Ice Beam. Heracross is second, and is one-shot with Air Cutter. Rapidash is third, and we one-shot that with Surf. I think the fight is about to get harder as Snorlax is fourth, and we go for Surf. It takes 3 of those attacks to bring Snorlax down, We do get hit with 2 body slams, but thankfully no paralysis. That would have been a problem. Roserade is 5th, and we one-shot that with Ice Beam, and Empoleon is last, and in absence of a fantastic way to hurt it, I spam Surf over and over for about 1/4 to 1/3 of its health each time. We do get hit with a bunch of Shadow Claw attacks, but 4 Surfs are enough to bring the opponent down. I mean, thankfully we didn't get crit by Shadow Claw because that might have been an issue. Before we enter, here are our stats at level 83, and they are pretty much as might have been expected at the start of the video. Our special defence is fantastic. Our other stats aren't too bad, all bar our physical attack that we're not using. At the moment anyway. I might need a physical attack later on in the run. I'll explain more why later. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Right now folks, let's do this. Right then, Elite 4. Bug Trainer Aaron is 1st, and there are some absolutely brutal attempts at this fight until I work out a winning strategy. His wall is Vespiquen with Defend Order and Heal Order. It's not the first time I've had issues with this Pokemon in Platinum, see the Cherubi run. It takes several attempts and eventually I hit upon the idea of using the Never Melt Ice to power up Ice Beam, since it's just narrowly surviving the attack otherwise. On the winning run, we down Yanmega with Ice Beam and then do the same to Vespiquen on the next round. Heracross is a one-shot with Air Cutter. Sinnoh survives Surf and hits Night Slash, which we managed to shrug off. Aaron heals Sinnoh, but 2 more Surf attacks are enough to bring it crashing down. Drapion is last and Surf does big damage. It hits Cross Poison on us, but we shrug it off and take it out with another Surf. Ground-type trainer Bertha is 2nd, and I've figured out that I'm going to repeat my strategy from the Electric Gym before with Surf and the choice specs. The only one who isn't weak to water is Whiscash, who is out first, but we one-shot that with Surf. Golem is 2nd, it won't surprise you, we one-shot that with Surf. Rhyperior is 3rd, and we're locked into Surf, which is handy as that's also enough to take it out in 1 hit. Gliscor is 4th, and Surf one-shots it. Before, Hippowdon is last, and again, Surf takes it out in 1 hit. That was easy. Fire-type trainer Flint is 3rd, and that strategy I had worked pretty well before, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He begins with Houndoom, and we go for Choice Specs Boosted Surf, and one-shot that as a result. Infinite is 2nd, but we outspeed, and it also goes down to Surf. Magmortar, out 3rd, is also a one-shot with Surf. Flareon is 4th, and it's quickly also dispatched with a Surf attack before his final Pokemon in Rapidash is eliminated with the same move. Lucian turns out to be harder though, as I predicted, and it takes several attempts for me to get over on him. I try the Choice Specs and Surf strategy at first, but we come up short with it versus Gallade. We get too badly messed up by Stone Edge. So I try a lot of different strategies and eventually come back with this one on the winning run. Mr. Mime can be problematic. We set up an Aqua Ring and get hit with Thunderbolt, but we manage to crit a Surf on the next turn to take it out before it can set up Light Screen, which is a possible problem. Gallade is hit by Air Cutter and lands Stone Edge. We hit another Air Cutter and it misses Stone Edge before Lucian heals it. It then misses another Stone Edge as we hit 2 more Air Cutters to take it down, so Element of Fortune. Espeon is a 2-shot with Surf and Ice Beam, but does hit a Psychic on us for reasonable damage, but it could have been so much worse. Bronzong survives a first Surf and goes for Calm Mind, but it isn't enough to let it survive a second Surf, and we take it out before Alakazam is last. It outspeeds and hits Psychic, critting us, but we land a Surf on it. We are hit with another Psychic, but we take it out with Air Cutter, and that leaves just the champion for us to overcome. Cynthia is a bit of a tall order though, and it quickly becomes apparent that we cannot do it at this level without an insane amount of fortune. There are a few problems. Spiritomb is not one of them. We can set up with Aqua Ring and take it out at our leisure, and it can't really hurt us. Her next 4 Pokemon though all have the capacity to screw with us in different ways. Togekiss can hurt us badly with Shockwave, which isn't pleasant. Even with our special defence, it still does about half our health in damage, give or take. Like Lucian's Gallade, Lucario has a Stone Edge, and also an extreme speed to keep in mind if we barely survive. Also, on a lot of these runs, it very rarely missed Stone Edge either, which quite annoying. Garchomp is faster than us, and if Dragon Rush lands, we're probably in trouble, depending on how badly we got messed up by Togekiss and Lucario. Of course, Dragon Rush can miss, and we can one-shot Garchomp with Ice Beam, but that also leaves Milotic next, who has Mirror Coat, and we have nothing but special moves to try and hurt it with. So, the damage counter on that soon mounts up, and I eventually have to bow out in defeat. I head back to Iron Island to go on the grind trail and prep for the rematch with Cynthia. It's good to know we can make it through the Elite Four, albeit with some fortune, so I guess we just need to be stronger. Outspeeding Garchomp seems like a priority. If we can do that, we might have a chance. It's one less attack they've got to hit, and we've got to survive. Also, I think we are going to need Return for Milotic. I know it isn't going to do a lot of damage, but it beats being Mirror Coated to defeat. After much training, I return to face Cynthia at level 92, and well, this is interesting. We Aqua Ring versus Spiritomb and get hit with a Dark Pulse to pretty minimal damage, and given we're healing twice essentially every time we land a hit, we soon recover health where we land some Surfs to take Spiritomb out. We also shrug a Shadow Ball off. Thankfully, no special defense drop. Togekiss is second and survives Ice Beam, but we get the freeze and another Ice Beam takes it out. Lucario is third and survives Surf before doing over half our health in damage with Stone Edge, but another Surf takes it out. This time we are faster than Garchomp and can one-shot that with Ice Beam for a knockout. Then Milotic. This is pretty painful. We start hitting returns and it's a slow, arduous process as we also get hit with Ice Beam attacks. We get it to red health and then she heals, but before she heals we get frozen by Ice Beam. Now I'm not saying we are frozen for a long time, but we're frozen long enough for her to run out of Ice Beam PP. Possibly she also ran out of Mirror Coat PP because there were a lot of turns where she used that to no effect, and I also think she ran out of Dragon Pulse PP as well. We were frozen for a long time. I was worried about getting worn down by the time we eventually defrosted, but the nice thing was when she did run out of PP, she only had Surf left as an attacking move, and with Water Absorb, this healed us up very nicely. Wearing down Milotic with Return isn't a fun thing to do, but it's the best way we've got, since, as I said previously, I didn't fancy getting murdered by Mirror Coat. That'd be a great name for a band, or a song, I don't know. Roserade at the end survives Ice Beam, poisons us with Toxic, but a second Ice Beam takes it down, and with that we can draw a line under this challenge, we can move along. We can enter the Hall of Fame. Toby is immortalised and things are so much brighter as a new champion reigns in Sinnoh. Well, that was interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. I do like doing runs with Pokemon like this that I've never really used. I did use Mantine in my Pokemon Colosseum playthrough, at least until I got Suicune, but yeah, I've never really used Mantyke. I mean, Sinnoh is a good region to use water types in. They don't tend to have too much of a bad time here. I mean, I've done at least 2 other water type Pokemon runs in this region. I remember my first Platinum run was with Weasel, and I know I used Squirtle too. Did I use any other ones? Let me think. No, I haven't. I've used some very eclectic Pokemon in this region, but I mean, yeah, Skorupi, Kricketune, Shuppet, Cherubi, Pachirisu, that sounds like a new take on the Pokérap, doesn't it? I mean, I've seen, the thing that's worth remembering is, there was a point where I didn't do any challenges in Platinum for ages. I had some idea that Pearl was better, but even then I never did water type in Pearl either. I mean, it would Glameow, Ponyta, Shinx and Bronzor, so yeah, I'm waffling a bit, I know that, yeah. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, click on that comment and smash that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this content, join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as I see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow with a single Pidgey. Sure to be interesting. I have a feeling that's definitely not a unique challenge when I do that search to see if anyone else has ever done the challenge before, but we'll have fun doing it. I feel like there's been a point now where when you look at the Gen 1 games, I feel like every Pokemon's probably had a challenge done with it at some point. So, yeah, but any chance I get to play Gen 1, I'm always happy with that. Maybe fun's not going to be the right word using Pidgey in Gen 1, because I did have a look at its move setting. Yeah, it's really not good, so I think that's where the challenge is going to be, but we'll see. I'm going to jump off here, folks, so thanks again, take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time, I guess. Bye-bye, so long, see ya, ta-ra!